And therefore, while we did begin, I've critically looked at how to approach the Upanishads, and I have some proposals which I want to discuss with you, because it would be a unique way, not unique really, but it would be a better way, in my opinion. Of course, it also should be your opinion. So I have some proposals to discuss. Upanishad proposals. Very nice, no?
Upanishads proposal.
I feel four identities are there. Three people, and the fourth one is the network. Because
absolutely.
That is an important one, computer ji.
Absolutely. So it is because of the network that all this is happening. You see, on your own, you will not do all these things. Because you have a network, because you are accountable, responsible to the network, therefore, correct. So it is not a matter of, kitab leke jo hai, chhanbeen karke bolna. It is not that, so I kind of, looked at everything very critically. So let others join in, and then I will discuss the proposal with you, because that will make our study more meaningful. So the whole idea is, of course, you see, as I was discussing with Sunil ji, by some force of circumstances, professional, personal, I've landed up with all these books. Okay. कैसा हुआ, क्यों हुआ, मत पूछो. ठीक है, हो गया. So it's like that song, ये क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ. All that is over now.
तो राजेश आपकी तरह अब राज भी एग्जांपल देने लगे सॉन्ग्स वाले.
जो हुआ, जब हुआ, जैसे हुआ.
Correct. So therefore now
happened for a reason.
Absolutely. So now the whole idea is that how do we make unique value out of this combination of books? It's not just what the authors told you, but you build on what the authors told you so that it is relevant to the group and in the long run for other things also. So that's the idea. Let's see who are all the other. I think Sunil Rastogi is not likely to join. Atul has joined us. That's good.
Atul has come.
Vishwaroop may join. I don't know. Yeah, should join.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, Atul.
Namaskar, Atul. How are you?
Good, good. How are you all?
We are all doing fine. We are all doing fine.
Sorry, I got a little late. Sorry, huh?
No, not at all. So I think since people have joined in the sense Atul is here, Rajesh is here, Sunilji is here. So I am going to discuss schemata for studying the Upanishads. Now, of course, with all the enthusiasm of the Bhagavad Gita behind us, we entered into the Upanishads very bravely. And then we spent the first session in looking at the available literature, the Indian religious literature in terms of the Samahita, the Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and all that stuff. And of course, a few books were recommended to understand the entire structure of the Indian scriptural literature. So that is tactical. You must know what is there. Otherwise, you don't know why you are studying what you're studying. But as I was saying a few minutes before you joined in, Atul, I was sharing with Sunilji and with Rajesh. See, for XYZ reasons, I've landed up with all these books. Okay, maybe I'm a crazy man or whatever the compulsions were. We are there. And there's a further point made by Rajesh that all this is, we are all working in a network. So therefore, when I look at the network of people who are here currently, as well as the possible future network, I was looking at how to make the Upanishad sort of understanding more value added in view of the books that are there. You see, if you don't have the book, then you have to go by what you have in the website and you have a word-to-word meaning. So all that is equally available to all of us. So it is not that there is something unique in the entire matter. So what I did is so let me explain my point of view. My point of view is, see, level one understanding is what does the word mean and what is the interpretation of the sequence of words as a sentence. Now, this is all in ancient Vedic Sanskrit, and scholars have spent centuries in trying to understand. So you have 3 or 4 interpretations of every Upanishadic statement available. So we don't have to worry as to why somebody thought this, which school or thought. We have interpretations available.
Right.
Now, so that's level 1. So we have crossed level 1. Fortunately, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. All the ustads, who know Vedic semantics, terminology up and down. Okay. Now the second level at which, in fact, we had started is to look at each Upanishad and not just look at it as a number of shlokas, but look at it in terms of themes. You have this theme, this theme, this theme, which is what I tried to do. If you recall, in the Isha Upanishad, we broke it down that the first shloka is about how God is present in the universe, second, third, and fourth. So thematically breaking down the Upanishad and then building on level 1. So level 2 is thematic categorization of the 1 minute. I'll just,
Sure.
yeah, it's okay. I just disconnected. Okay, so the second level is a thematic understanding of the Upanishads per se, but we are looking at it Upanishad to Upanishad. Now, I thought that given the fact that, okay, so the thematic categorization is available in a few books, like if you take Radha Krishnan, if you take a few other, who have delved into the Upanishads, they have given you how to understand a set of mantras in a particular Upanishad. I think we should go and understand at level 3, and what I mean by level 3 is, in fact, it's an exact parallel to what we did in the Gita. In the Gita, if you recall, about a year ago or year and a half ago when we began, I began in the same way as I'm beginning the Upanishads. I said we will start from shloka number 1 and then we will go. And then there was feedback from the group saying, Baba, aisa nahi karna, thoda humko thematically de do. Okay. Now that, and then we looked at Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and we had that entire sequence, which proved to be a overall, bird's eye view of the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So the themes were cutting across the chapters. So you had a Karma Yoga means it will be across 4-5 chapters, or as the case may be. So the point that I'm trying to make now is that I think we should approach our Upanishad from a broader perspective. So what is a broader perspective? I'll share screen with you to indicate 3 or 4 schemata available where homework has been done. As I said, a lot of masala is there. So I'm sharing the screen of, well, wait, I'll begin with the gems from Upanishads. So this is a scholar who has created 108. So he calls it gem number 1, gem number 2. So he is categorizing his selection from the principal Upanishads, which are 11 in number, as to Dvaita, which is dualism, Vishishta Dvaita, which is qualified non-dualism, and which is Advaita, which is non-dualism. So he has, of course, a larger number of extracts from Advaita, and it ends with 108. So 108 different extracts, which are classified further as, you can see within each you have Brahman, 2 modes, and then he has from different Upanishads, the shlokas of the same theme. So this is one methodology, and this particular commentator or author has also linked each of these gems or many of these gems to Rig Veda, saying ultimately the Upanishads are from, condensations of some ideas of the Vedas, though all the ideas in the Vedas are not relevant to Upanishads. So there is, in this particular schemata, we have a thematic recategorization from all the Upanishads in this format. So this is one schemata. The second schemata, so this incidentally is a scholar from South Africa. His name is H.B. Phillips. He's a professor of Vedic philosophy in South Africa. So can you imagine? So the typical Western mind likes to categorize, and he has done this. This is a very good scheme. This is the book that I'm talking about, from where I have been able to give you the first 2 pages. Okay, so this is one way of looking at it. The other way is, and I'm going to go to essence of Upanishads. So this scheme that you see where there are a number of subjects: Agni, Akasha, Annamay Purusha, Anandamay Purusha, assimilation, bewildered, birth, karma, kala, knower, knowledge, Mahavidya. So it's more or less like a dictionary of the various concepts that you have in the Upanishads and the relevant extracts from across 108 Upanishads. So the difference between the previous gems and this will span across the 108 Upanishads or 112 Upanishads and give you matters under the classification that has been presented here. So from yoga at the very end, all the way going up to A is Agni. So this is, and this is by MP Pandit, who is a staunch disciple, or who was a staunch disciple of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. So this is the second schemata. The third one which I present is called, so it is, okay, so the second schemata, the book which I have, I'll just show the, it is this, it is called Essence of Upanishads, and you can see the name MP Pandit there. So so this is the one. Now the third one which I'm going to present to you, just have a cup of coffee, is written by, so it is from a book called The Vedic Mind, okay? It is written by Ram Piparia. And what you have here is, see, basically in this book, he has given extracts from the Upanishads, extract from Bhagavad Gita, extract from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So as far as Upanishads are concerned, he has categorized the subjects like you find here. What is Brahman? 4 great statements. Consciousness is Brahman. So I mean, you can see the 47 subjects into which he has categorized the entire matter. Again, these are principally from the principal Upanishads. So 2-3 shlokas from each one of them is there. And this is a little more sort of nearer to a common person's language. Okay. So my proposal, I'm just going to stop the share for a moment here. So my proposal is that we should go beyond doing the Upanishads shloka by shloka. I think just like we did the Bhagavad Gita, took a bird's eye view of the Bhagavad Gita, I think we should take a bird's eye view of the Upanishad. It never struck me because you see, these are all books hidden away here and there in the cupboard. And I was looking at them, I was critically examining the entire matter and felt that one of these three, depending upon, since you have seen the 3 schematas, which one of these, I mean, first of all, are you in agreement with the idea that we should go thematically? Number 1. Number 2, if you're in agreement, which of these 3 schemes of themes would you feel is most comfortable and most interesting for us to go through? Because then I will prepare slides for each. So there's a lot of homework I will do. I will not do what I've been doing in the first 2 sessions, which is looking at the website and running around here and there. It will be truly presented and it will be focused, and then we look at that. So that's the idea. So over to you guys.
So I think,
yeah,
I'm
Atul.
sorry, here. Yeah.
Atul, go ahead since you start.
So
yeah.
So I think from my perspective, and I think that this would be wonderful because we would get to kind of have a broad. We would get to see from many different Upanishads, not just one, and it is better than going shloka by shloka and getting deep into one Upanishad at this point. I think first we should get a broad overview of everything, and then go deeper later into a particular Upanishad, shloka by shloka. So this, I think, is a good idea. And also, the second question that you raised, I think the first one, which kind of goes by dualism and then Vishisht, Dvaita and then Advaita, that sounds to me more, better to do at this point, because that again is a broad overview of the 3 common things we keep hearing. So
Correct.
I've always been interested in, knowing more about Vishishtadvaita, the middle one. So
yeah, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, and Advaita. Okay, got
right.
it. Got it.
So these are broad categories that we keep hearing about. So when we get to know them, and then later on we can go into finer detail about what this Upanishad says from each shloka
Sure,
to the
sure.
end shloka. That's
Okay.
my 2 cents.
Okay, okay. So over to you then, Rajesh, for your thoughts, and then of
Yeah.
course to Sunilji.
It is a very good step to broaden our horizon, because our purpose is not only knowing the slope. Our purpose is application is wider, so different will be a good one. And I feel the second one, from the connotation point of view. So maybe the reason behind it is familiarization. But nonetheless, other two which are not more familiar, it will be more interesting to know on that thing. And familiarization, our knowledge will be a little more expanded, because our purpose is to apply it. We should carry home the points. And one thing extra I want to add, at the end of the session, we should commit what improvement we are going to apply that knowledge. So that some task, so during that week or fortnight, we should apply and come forward this has I've learned it and gained also.
Okay.
Say for control, what control we are able to apply certain. That's what I want to add.
So what you're saying is it should not be that you hear Upanishads from here, it goes out from here. It should go
That should not be true, fair. Because you are, after all, we are not undermining our efforts coming to join the session, but you are preparing and you just torch bearer of us. So it will be, we should carry some improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the whole idea, because our group name is Mumukshu. So kuch to moksha ki taraf badhna hai through our efforts here. So point fully taken. Okay, so I'll seek the opinion of Sunilji now for his thoughts.
And in the lighter vein, we should report to our boss who says, what did you learn? What did you learn? So that we can come forward. We have learned this with improvement. See the better judge of this one.
बस ये काम किया, थोड़ा इंक्रीमेंट दे दो हमको.
मेरा सोचना यह है राज के इसमें ये जो भी इन लोगों ने अपना जिस्ट बना के किताब बनाई है जो आपने दिखाई, इसमें मतलब हमें जैसे गीता में आपने किया था कि 93 श्लोक सेलेक्ट किया था, तो हमको ओरिजिनल मंत्र जो है वो और उसका मीनिंग जरूर सामने दिखना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
वरना क्या होता है, सिर्फ जिस्ट दिखता है तो हम ओरिजिनल मंत्र तक कभी पहुंच नहीं पाते.
No, not at all. So I will share with you, I mean, you're very right. हर एक में जो है मंत्र है and mantra ka source hai. So what I will do is I will pull out the Sanskrit part of it, get the word to word meaning and the 2 or 3 interpretations of the Sanskrit, and of course the theme under which it is nested. So एक nesting concept में बनाएंगे. Correct?
तो मतलब जो भी आप चुनो, मतलब टॉपिकल आप चुन लो, बट टॉपिकल में बस हमें जिस तरह से ओरिजिनल मंत्र उसका मीनिंग, तो इस तरह से क्या होता है कि मतलब हमें जो उसकी पायसनेस है, जो उसकी पवित्रता है, वो सामने रहनी चाहिए बस.
बिल्कुल.
अगर हमें मंत्र चैंटिंग को मिले तो हम उसको मंत्र को भी डायरेक्ट कोरिलेट कर पाए.
No, absolutely correct. So there is no point in bringing in only अंग्रेजी. Correct? अंग्रेजी में तो बहुत सारे ट्रांसलेशन बैठे हैं जिनका वो डीपर मीनिंग निकलता नहीं है. So definitely it is the commitment that we will, जो भी सिलेक्शन किया है उन लोगों ने उसका so मेरा काम है to look at that, to look at the word to word meaning, to paste that, so I will create a slide deck for every session.
जो टॉपिकल ग्रुपिंग है दैट इज अ गुड आइडिया, बट सिमिलरली जैसे गीता में आपने मंत्र जरूर प्लेस, श्लोक जरूर प्लेस किए थे, उसका मीनिंग भी रखा था, तो वो हमें मतलब ओरिजिनल जब पढ़ते थे तो उससे टच महसूस रहता था हमेशा.
नो एब्सोल्युटली. सो ये जो
कई बार क्या होता है, मीनिंग जो है वो पर्सनलाइज हो जाता है उन ऑथर्स का, तो हम चाहते हैं कि उन ऑथर्स का मीनिंग समझें बट मंत्र को साथ में जरूर लेकर चलें.
So I will give you an example of how these books are structured. जैसे ये जेम्स वाला है जिसका जिक्र जो है अतुल ने पहले किया था. So if you look at how the author has done, he has given, let us say this is matter and spirit है, क्या है matter and nature है, तो उसमें श्वेता श्वातार उपनिषद से ये है, फिर यहाँ पे छांदोग्य से ये है, तो मैं इनका रेफरेंस लेके इनका जो है जो आपने जो वेबसाइट दिया है उसका ओरिजिनल मंत्र जो है डाल के, उसका वर्ड टू वर्ड मीनिंग डाल के, फिर उसको एक जो है जो भी थीम है, सो द बाइंडिंग थीम विल बी फ्रॉम द बुक, जो भी बुक है जो भी सेलेक्ट करेंगे, और जो डिटेलिंग है वो उसका ऐसे ही होगा जैसे वी आर डूइंग ईच इंडिपेंडेंट उपनिषद विद डिटेल्ड वर्ड टू वर्ड मीनिंग. So that's the idea. Yeah, because otherwise it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
क्योंकि ऐसे बहुत सारे बुक्स मुझे मिले जिनमें उन्होंने अपनी फिलॉसफी जो है ओरिजिनल फिलॉसफी के साथ एड अप कर दिया है, तो उसमें क्या होता है कि हम लोग ओरिजिनल फिलॉसफी से दूर हो जाते हैं कई बार.
So yes, I think you're very right. We will definitely have the shlokas. And Atul, looking at each of these schematas that I have, I think you see the Upanishads are so vast that we will begin with gems, which is the Advaita, Dvaita, and Vishishta Dvaita sequence. Right. Then we will do the next one. Okay, so I think, we will do the next one, which is the technical classification. Agni kya hota hai, ye kya hota hai, wo kya hota hai, which is very, very deep. And the third one is a more common person's thing, which you saw. The third one is a more familiar. So once we have this philosophical classification, technical classification, and popular classification, that's the name I'll give. Okay, so our three schematas are philosophical, technical, and popular. So we will do all the three of them, because then we have a perfect command over what the Upanishad says. And then if you're interested, we can always go in for detailed masala. That's what I okay.
Zindagi baki rahi to.
Yes, sir. Why not? That's the whole point, right? क्या करोगे भाई?
Atul, I always feel कि जिंदगी बाकी रहने तक सक्सेसर हर चीज के डेवलप हो जाते हैं. तो सक्सेसर ऐसे डेवलप होने चाहिए काम के कि यू क्रिएट दोज मटेरियल सो दैट वो सक्सेसर डेवलप्स हो, और वो सक्सेसर उस बात को आगे ले जाए. तो ये जो आप देखिए 5000 साल से ये चीज बची हुई है इसीलिए ना कि सक्सेसर डेवलप करते गए वो लोग.
Right.
Very right. That is the essence of the life.
हाँ, तो सक्सेशन तो होगा ही होगा.
So now I have two things to share with you. Number one is कि अगले Thursday, Friday को मैं जा रहा हूँ तिरुवन्नामलाई, which is रमण महर्षि's आश्रम, क्योंकि मेरा जो पेपर है वो रमण महर्षि के ऊपर बेस्ड है, तो मैंने कहा उनके समाधि पे जाके थोड़ा बहुत और बुद्धि में उनका ब्लेसिंग ले लें तो अच्छा रहेगा. So for 2 days I am going there. So next Thursday, Friday I'll be away, and therefore we'll not have a class. Then the next Thursday, 28th, I am leaving for Banaras, correct? So therefore, next to next Thursday also there'll be no class. But what I'm doing now is I will then be back on third night from Lucknow. And then I'm already, so I will prepare the first lesson, which we will do on 5th of May, right? 5th of May, we will have our first lesson. Next 2 weeks, you'll have to excuse me, but I would, get the material ready. So we will go by the gems thing, so we'll go by, Vishishta Dvaita, Dvaita, and all that sequence that we have. So I look at how many shlokas or how many themes we can do in one session. That little experimentation we will have, and then we can kind of standardize. So that's the whole idea. So you'll have to excuse me next week and the week after that, but I'm
of course
on a mission. I would say.
इस बुक का कवर राज आप डाल दीजिएगा उस पर WhatsApp पर.
I'll do that. Both the gems wala is published by Ramakrishna Mutt, और ये जो technical वाला है that is published by Aurobindo Ashram actually, और ये जो Vedic Mind है जो popular वाला है, so I will send the pictures as well as the links wherever it's available, so that if you have the source book too, then it becomes kind of easier to relate to it. So that's the idea. Okay, boss. So then I will sign off now, and we'll start doing the homework for. So we will first proceed. So I'll of course send you details of these books, And then I'll start working on the first session, which will be on the 5th of May. And then we will move it forward from there. Okay. So with that, any final thoughts of anybody? Otherwise, we will close the session today. So thanks a ton, Rajesh,
Fine.
Atul, and
Thank you.
Sunilji. Thanks. Take care. And
Fine.
Okay.
Namaskar.
Chalo, Jai Bhavan, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Absolutely.
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.